Hey Phil, how are you?
Good, how are you?
You guys might remember Phil from when we did the wood chipping video here on his property. Well, Phil's got the Kubota L3301, and he's going to show us today how the backhoe attachment attaches to the back of the tractor. Phil claims this is a one-man job, huh?
It's pretty simple once you get the hang of it.
So give me the basics about what you have to do to prepare this for the backhoe.
So the first thing we're going to do is pretty simple. We're going to take off the top link. We're going to remove all of our 3-point linkage because that's going to be in the way of the backhoe, and we're going to pull out the drawbar. And then we're ready to back up to the backhoe, get that hooked up.
And this tractor has a special subframe for the backhoe attachment.
Yeah, every tractor, every backhoe has a different combination of subframes, so you want to make sure if you're looking at it, you get the right subframe for the tractor and the backhoe.
And this is the L3301.
L3301.
But the same backhoe would fit probably the L2501, the L3901.
Yep, the L4701 has a bigger backhoe.
Right.
But the 2501, the 3301, and the 3901, and I think the 3902 and the 3302
the new
also
series might use the same one. Cool. All right. Show us what you have to do.
All right. So the top link is very simple. Just a spring pin. Take that out. Throw it right back in so we don't lose it. Set that aside. Now for the 3-point linkage, you need a 14mm wrench. There's 2 bolts under here that hold the pins in place. So we're just going to back them out. They do have lock washers on them.
And that's basically the hinge point of the 3-point hitch, right?
That's the most solid mounting point on the 3-point arms. We get that pin pulled out, and that'll drop right out. I would stick it right back in there and re-secure that bolt because I have lost these in the past.
It's experience talking.
You're never going to find them again once they're gone. Tighten that up a little bit. Then there's 2 other connections on the 3-point linkage. We have a spring pin up here. That just slides off. And then way back in here, I've actually modified this a little bit. It's just a pin to release that. And that arm comes right off.
Now, it looks like you upgraded to the telescoping stabilizers, is that right?
Yeah,
because these came with the turnbuckle type, right?
Yeah, it came with the turnbuckle. I bent them pretty quickly. Was very disappointed in the quality of them. The telescopic are so much better, so much easier to work with. I'll switch over to the other side. Pull that bolt out. Tighten it up so we don't lose it. One spring pin up here. And 1 pin here. And that's it. 3-point linkage is
for the 3-point.
Drawbar, very, very simple to remove. Should have a pin in the bottom, mine doesn't. Just pull that out, set it aside.
And that 3-point has a specific right and left side, but I guess that's pretty obvious when you put it back together?
Yeah, so looking towards the tractor, the left side is going to be the non-adjustable, and the right side will have the turnbuckle for adjusting the height of your 3-point, or the tilt of your 3-point rather.
Great.
Once we have that done, we're ready to start hooking it up. So I'm going to hop on the tractor, going to try to get it aligned as closely as I can, back in there, and then turn it off and hook up the hydraulics.
So you're lining up these hooks back here.
This receiver right here.
With these pins.
This pin right here. You want to get it as straight as you can because once you hook up those hydraulics, you only have about 6 inches of play where you can back up and move forward to try to get that aligned. So we're going to take our time. really try to get it nice and straight.
So you're going to back it up as close as you can and as straight as you can. Then you hook up the hydraulics, and you actually use the hydraulics to your benefit.
Yep, the
when you're hooking
hydraulics,
up
we're going to use the pads on the side, the stabilizer pads, to lift the platform up in the air. Otherwise, you're never going to get those pins in there.
All right. Let's see how you do it.
See how we can do it. That should be pretty good.
Now, is there a hose that you disconnect, like a loop for the hydraulics?
Yeah, so you have a feed coming out of the tractor, which is this guy right here. And you have one coming off of the backhoe right down here. So this is a power beyond port. So it's a continuous loop.
So when that other hose is hooked up, it's just kind of circulating through the system.
Yep, it's just going to supply hydraulic fluid to the controls on the backhoe itself.
So that same loop that you disconnected, you're now connecting that to the backhoe, and that the backhoe then kind of completes the loop.
Has its own, it works right off of the reservoir. So we'll start it up, and then we'll use the stabilizer arms to lift that platform up. That should get us pretty close. Let me see if I can back in there. One thing to keep in mind is you want to make sure you don't pinch either your hydraulic lines. Sometimes they get stuck down in there, and it's quite a mess if you pinch that. So we're in pretty close. Now I'm going to lower a little bit.
Now, are you fine-tuning it to line up this pin on the top?
Yeah, it's right now I'm just trying to get those pins to drop into the receiver. It's a little tricky getting them lined up just right. Sometimes I'll actually use a steel bar to kind of shimmy the backhoe around a little bit to get everything lined up just right. Now what I'm going to do is actually use the dipper to raise this up, and those pins should start to drop into the receiver. There it goes. All right, now that we have them in, we'll use the dipper to just pivot the platform right into place. Now we should be aligned. We're going to take these pins here, slide them in. One on each side. Kubota needs to add a third hole in the seat adjustment so that it locks halfway. It would make hooking up a lot easier. Now, as I'm playing with that, I'm pushing on this pin so you can actually feel when it's stuck and when it's free. Once you get it in just the right spot, oh, I see what the problem is. All right, we're out of alignment a little bit. I have to grab my steel rod. I'll be right back.
So just like a 3-point hitch implement, you have to sometimes encourage these to go into place with a little gentle persuasion.
There it is. It's a lot of an inch this way and a quarter inch that way. But once you get it, we're off to the races. That's it.
Nice.
That's the L3301 with the BH77 backhoe.
So that's it, huh?
That's it. It can be a struggle, but once you get the pins lined up, that's really the hardest part.
I imagine on a good day, everything lines up, that could be a 3 to 5 minute job.
Oh yeah, I've gotten it on and off in 5 minutes, no problem. But like you say, it's a one-man job. It takes a little bit of patience sometimes, but it's really not that difficult
Nice.
once you get everything lined up.
And what I saw there, basically 2 hydraulic fittings that you're plugging in.
Yep.
2 hooks on the bottom.
Yep.
2 pins on top.
That's it.
And that's it.
That's all there is to it.
Plug and play.
Yeah. One thing to keep in mind about the BH77 is there's about 30 grease zerks on it. You really have to hunt for them. Make sure you get every one of them every time.
It's important. Keep it lubed up.
Yep, absolutely.
Hey, thanks, Phil. I appreciate it.
Ed, anytime.
Thank you for watching today. If you've not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, I invite you to join us. Make sure you follow on Facebook and TikTok, and I look forward to seeing you next time.